Frigid Hyperion, and welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount campaign. This will be part 1 of session 39, and with me today I have Dawn playing Soren, Lily is playing Windchime, Kale is playing as Brine, and I'm playing as Moonzik, with Emily being our lovely dungeon master and giving our recap for this week. We have Rocky playing as Edward. Take it away, sir.
So, last time on Wilds of Wildemount, the party decided it would be a good idea to gift the cannon to the Wave Chaser crew. Uh, what ended up happening was, after an arduous session of, getting the cannon onto the boat and out of the basement, we finally got it onto that little pink swan paddle boat, which we still don't have an affectionate name for, by the way. Anyway, the point is while we were peacefully paddling along the gentle rocking waves, uh, beneath the water lurks a great danger. For some reason, a turtle dragon decided to pop out from the waves and attack the crew. And with panicked desperation cries and, a very, very tenacious struggle, the crew finally was able to escape the turtle dragon without any casualties. We then retreated back into Broken Bank Shore and also decided to talk with the Wave Chaser crew about our woes, troubles, and also the fact that we have a cannon for them, which is pretty cool. And that's where we left off.
Lovely.
So, last we had left off, we were hanging out in the Fog and Frog Tavern, finishing up some conversations that were happening. As you all eat your meals, this is what would you like to do? You have Broken Bank and the world at your fingertips.
Moonzik wants to drink.
Absolutely. You have your ale in hand.
Um,
Or anything fancy.
so, what was the plan with Janor back on the island? I mean, I know it feels like it's been a full day, but
I suppose
it's like noon.
Ah, shoot. I forgot about that. I suppose they shouldn't get too drunk then. You have to paddle back and all that. Well,
And maybe see if the ship can make it, given that the spikes presumably moved.
I imagine that would be a good idea. And if Edward still has, yeah, I don't know. I suppose we'll have to take the ship over there. And
Maggie? I had a question for you. Would you be comfortable leaving port under the knowledge that there was a dragon turtle just recently driven off?
Sure, I guess. You guys scared it away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to leave port at some point.
Fair enough.
I'm still not sure if scared it away was the proper term for it.
More like, we got scared away and got away.
Well, it turned around, so clearly we did enough to it that it stopped.
It changed its mind, at least, about us being, enough trouble for food. was not looking forward to being broiled alive.
I mean, I I guess I guess if we have to, we have to. You know.
Yeah, I was just it felt like the right thing to ask.
I think it'd be a healthy venture to do. And that way, you'd be the first to know that Firewatch Island is fully, people can come and go as they please without needing just small vessels.
That's actually a pretty decent question. If hypothetically, she says, if the spires are gone, are we expected to come to Firewatch? Are we? I mean, um, we did kind of a few weeks ago now send uh, we sent Kajori and Dejarkle to the island, just out of curiosity. Really, it was their idea. Yeah, it was. I wanted to check up, see how things were going. I mean, we did stop by, and we had a couple extra hours. So, is that you know? I
Our
guess
require our requirement?
I don't know what the plan is.
Well, right now we'd just like to make sure that the ship can go. Um, Basically, take a look, make sure the porting arrangements are uh, make sure the arrangements for coming into port there are feasible. If we have to build a new dock for the ship, we may, but I think the biggest point is that it would make certain cargo ventures easier, whether that would be moving some of the elderberry wine or any of the other products that are starting to grow on the island.
So, you all are planning on shipping things out of the island. I
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was the intention.
that's fine. Like, I guess I wasn't really certain about our relationship, the Wave Chasers' relationship with the island. I know you call us part of the Legati company, but mostly we've just been doing gigs,
Right,
like a normal.
which we appreciate. The goal is for the two to work in a degree of harmony, for you to have a reliable source if the gigs dry up of things to ship, and for us to have a reliable shipping business that we can use to sell more of our product. Together, we manage to make more on both ends.
It could also be a place where you all can fall back to should you need to. We've got a fort there, and we've got a couple trustworthy people. I'm sure they'd all be happy to see you.
So, by that, you mean a bed to rest in, no charge, lots of drinks, beautiful women, etc.
I mean, like, myself included, probably three beautiful women, but you know.
I mean, if you really wanted to, I could transform into one.
Now, that would be interesting. We can talk later. With that, Heidi kind of slams her drink on the table. back to the topic at hand. So places to stay. No, I mean I don't by any means mean. Never mind. That's fine. I just okay. That works, I suppose.
Your input is valuable if you had something to say.
I just honestly I would rather sleep in a bed or my hammock.
That's fair. I think we can arrange something like that. Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
an option at worst, right?
it's
I
definitely
suppose. It's not like we have that much time anyway. We've got business to do.
right, but it still wouldn't be bad to be in a bed that, you'd call your own that isn't constantly rocking on the waves.
I rather happen to like that. You know that even when we dock most of the time, she still sleeps in the barracks. She still sleeps on the ship.
Yeah.
Wild. Crazy. It's not wild, not crazy. Somebody's got to watch.
And, I mean, I don't exactly sleep, but I don't mind the rocking of the ocean either. It's not that strange. And given all that you've said you enjoy, I assumed you liked rocking too.
I do. It's well, I'll admit that sometimes I can be a little clumsy on deck trying to, walk straight while the waves can be choppy at times. But it's not bad. If anything, I like the feeling of being rocked to sleep. Weird, I know, but
I don't.
Do you have mommy issues? I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
good. I wasn't sure how I was going to answer that.
Yes, he keeps impersonating other people's mommies.
To be honest, I haven't heard of that one, but whatever floats your boat.
And I've never done that myself. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, making sure we're all hydrated on every single day, adventuring, making sure we all budget our money correctly.
That's oh,
uh,
you're sleeping outside tonight, Brian.
I don't sleep.
You're trancing outside tonight.
It's a beautiful day for it.
You just always try and find something to spite me, don't you?
Did you enjoy your cinnamon roll this morning?
You eat the cinnamon roll that you made at 4 o'clock in the morning while singing.
Oh, does that not answer your question?
Moonsick takes a nice big drink of his ale.
Sorry.
The cinnamon rolls were good. I'll forgive you for being up that early. I know it. You don't sleep, you only trance, and you're always up that early, so.
Drives me nuts how long you people sleep. Seriously, I've had like 20 years to get used to it, which I know isn't that long, but it still bothers me. Soren, have you noticed this? Does this bother you at all, or?
Nah, it doesn't bother me, but I do wonder what goes on when you sleep.
Well, a lot of times I don't really have anything. I just go to sleep and I wake up in the morning. And
And
at a lot of times it seems like it goes by
You
in a
lose
flash.
time?
Hmm.
what?
You lose time? You
Essentially,
should
but
get that looked at. That's like medical.
Yeah, you sleep, and he's gonna use air quotations. You sleep for what, like 8 hours, and sometimes it's just black. Oh,
Like as if you've been knocked unconscious or almost dead.
it's voluntary though, and it's refreshing when you wake up.
Oh my god.
Heidi, back me up
I
on
mean, it's
this.
not completely emptiness. Like, you do dream throughout the course of it.
Well, yes and no. We're not always aware of those dreams, though.
Yeah,
Mr.
but
Other
we know
Table.
that happens.
No, don't cut him off.
I mean, that was the end of it, honestly.
Anyway, startling revelations of horrifying magnitude. Um. Oh
You were
my
asleep
god.
that one time, albeit involuntarily, by that flower.
Yes, and this was a medical issue.
Yeah, and what happened to the one guy that was on your cart that happened to pass out?
Medical issue.
Uh huh. Well,
All right, not the point. Do we have more things to do in port? I mean, we dropped off a cannon. We should probably get more shot for it. We did use them.
we used about 4 shots, I think. We had a fifth one loaded, but then
Well, you know. I wonder how much cannonballs sell for. I mean, you know.
So we can purchase more? I wonder if they even sell that here.
I mean, it's just a big ball of iron. I don't think.
Yeah, but like it's a specialty equipment and we're I mean it is a seafaring town, but
we can go over to, we can go to the shop and we can take a look at what they have and what their prices are, and we can go from there.
well, it sounds like something we better do before all the tables start getting a little too tipsy to do it.
Yeah, I suppose so. All right. No heavy drinking today, but another time then.
Okay. Where are you guys going?
Uh, is there a seafaring shop, one that might sell cannonballs and gunpowder and shot and all the things we need to
Uh,
continue cannon?
I don't remember all the shops' names.
well, boy oh boy.
Shiver
Ow!
me fingers.
The cat just bit my wrist. Um,
Yeah, I
He
guess.
also wrote something in chat earlier.
I noticed that on Saturday.
Oh my god, are we going to the Tesla warehouses?
No, that they sell doors.
Yeah.
They sell smart doors.
Smart doors. Man,
They're
what a
branching
doorless
out
product.
to windows.
Oh god. If I had to guess, it would probably be. I don't know.
Well, what are same cheeses? You know, I thought I've had a few of his hard cheeses that I swear to God. I'm kidding. I love all
I
of his
don't.
cheese.
If anything, they're gonna get stuck in the enemy's hull, not damage it.
Also, I love his cheeses. Also, we couldn't afford that.
The only place I could think of that might have cannonballs would either be Fringle's Pawn Store, or it'd be Ondurn's forge?
It would have to be the forge. I've been in the pawn store before. The forge at least does weapons, right?
Eh, that's true. Let's go and check out the forge and see what they have. And maybe if they don't
It's a
have
good
anything,
idea.
they might be able to point us in the right direction.
You make your way to the forge, which I'm just looking to see if this was one
Built.
I think I do have it.
Oh God.
Um,
No.
what?
Let's try
Yeah,
that
Jack
again.
menacingly. Or
Oh,
menacingly.
baby.
Let's try that again.
Oh, oh, hi. That's an old totem.
That's a place.
Hey, it's working though. Also, it's been an hour. I no longer have temporary hit points.
Oh, Lily, what did you say? I couldn't quite hear you.
Was that me?
I thought I heard you say something.
No, my roommate just got back.
Oh.
Ah.
Walking into Utherin's forge, you hear the clanking of metal on anvil, hammer on anvil. I think I actually have a. That it matters. What do you do?
Hello.
We are coming.
Just a moment. You hear more banging from the back. A deep sizzle. As after a few moments, a man in a heavy apron, makes his way out and says, "Hello, hello! Welcome to Uthadern's Forge. Ah, you guys look familiar. What can I do y'all for?"
We had a question. Do you make cannonballs here by chance?
I mean, I don't. Who's asking? I get it. You are. I suppose I probably could make cannonballs. Do I have any in stock right now? No, it's not something I would typically sell, but I could make some.
How much are you thinking you would charge for them?
Well, it's just a simple ball of iron. 5 gold apiece.
That's not bad.
I've got this.
Can I roll an insight to see if that price is fair and reasonable?
Mhm.
Alright. 17.
I mean, yeah, it seems like a pretty reasonable price. It's a ball of iron, and 5 gold is quite a bit.
Oh, that's fair enough.
It's not necessarily that the cannonball would be particularly difficult to make, it's just the amount of iron.
Right, you need to be
We're
able
just
to.
paying for people.
It's the raw material that you need. Well, how many do you think we should How many do you think we should
Well, how
get
many
for the
do you
ship?
think the crew would need?
Because let's see, we had 13 when we started, and we fired 4 shots, so that leaves us with 9. We could go with 6 and make it 15 cannonballs total, and that way we only have to. And that way we can pay 30 for it. Hello?
Yes,
Does that seem fair?
that sounds reasonable.
Alright. We can
Um,
do 6 cannonballs then, and we can pay you the gold now.
Like a plan. 30 gold.
Alright, and he'll hand him the 30 gold.
It'll take me a little bit. I'm in the middle of a project at this moment, but I could have it ready by tomorrow.
I think that's fair.
Wonderful. Pleasure doing business with you.
Pleasure as well. Pleasure is mine as well. We will see you tomorrow.
One sec. Alright, Ian. Do you think
Actually, he is as Moonzik. He did specifically say that he's been
Oh.
in as
Oh,
Moonzik.
sorry. Moonzik? Perhaps maybe the crew can pick it up? We might not be here tomorrow.
That I was going to let them know that. And I'm sure that Sundern would be alright with that. If anyone would know the.
We should probably tell the shopkeep.
Fair enough. One more thing before we leave. We might not pick up the cannonballs. It'll probably be the crew of our ship that does that for us.
It's no worries.
Okay.
What's the ship's name?
The Wave Chaser.
Wonderful. It's not like people often come in here looking for cannonballs.
That was my idea. It's good to be thorough though.
Wonderful. I'll be sure to give it to them.
All right. Thank you very much. All right.
That settles that.
Edward, you want to go see the wizard before we head out, or?
We want to go see the what now?
You know, the wonderful wizard? No, alright.
Fenrir.
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 Sure.
Shine bright.
You know, I haven't seen him in quite some time. I do have another topic of discussion that I would like to bring up with him, and at least hear his input on it. We could probably make a quick stop on the way.
Well, if you two want to go, we can probably get the ship in line and get it ready to sail over to Firewatch. And then I can let them know that they'll be picking up the cannonballs tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan.
Don't take too long. And by that I mean, Brian, make sure that they don't get into an endless conversation.
But I'm going to? I didn't want to. Alright, fine.
The entire point of it is to get into long conversations.
I'll make sure that the conversation isn't endless. That's all I promise.
Sounds good. We'll have the ship ready by the time you get back.
As though a lot of you make the long trek out Broken Bank, I am getting a call, so give me just a moment. In the meantime, take a look at this flashback.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. When Anima was still here.
Man, is that a dead gibbering mouther I see?
Remember the dead dragon?
Remember when I used the Monokuma doll? Also, when we when we shaved Fenrir's wool off and he was bald after he turned back into a human.
And then
I
we
don't
made like a
remember.
sweater out of his wool.
For science.
Is it science or is it magic at that point? Or I suppose the answer would be yes.
Wow, I remember this like it was yesterday.
Shut the fuck up.
We've been playing this campaign for over like a year, I think.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't remember exactly when we started, but it's about a year now.
Yeah, we should have like a 1-year anniversary episode.
I might be able to look it up, actually. Give me, like, a minute.
I'm counting.
I said like a
One,
minute.
2, 3.
God damn it. Really putting me on the spot here.
Okay, we'll do the real minute. 1 Mississippi,
God damn it.
2 Mississippi, 3
A few
4
Mississippi's later.
Let's see, when did I upload this? Because I know my upload date is not very far away from hold on. I'm not going to count that as the first one. I'm going to count this as the first one. Hello, everybody, and it has been over a year.
Oh, we missed our 1-year anniversary.
March 16th, 2022 is when I uploaded session 1.
Holy shit.
Wait, March 16th?
Yeah.
Then it's a month and a day past.
Yep.
Yeah, we missed our 1-year anniversary.
Unbelievable. Run it back.
Unacceptable!
Thank you, Levin Grab.
No. Run it back. All right. Who's got the Harry Potter stopwatch thingy? We gotta go back in time.
No,
This silence is so loud.
what we need is a fucking wacky watch from Mario Party 3. And we'll just drag the game on forever.
Okay, I am back, and we are going to delete. Just to give you a visual understanding, I'm not gonna place tokens or anything like that.
But it's a roleplay part. We don't need token.
Right.
No.
So, I feel like, how do I make it quick? I feel like this is just really loud, even on its minimum. Yeah, that's the absolute minimum. Regardless, you all, those of you, that's Brian and Edward, make your way the 2-hour trek, which I think you might have forgotten about, out to the outskirts of town to see Fenrir shine bright.
I forgot about how far this was. I'll go have your conversation. I'll knock on the door when.
Are you sure? I'm gonna turn around with a giddy look on my face. Well, I mean, if you insist, I'm gonna skip all the way to the door and knock on the door.
What his voice sounds like?
Hi, do you remember me? It's Edward Snowgale.
Does anybody remember what his voice sounds like?
No.
I do not.
Let me pull it up. I'm so sorry. I should have done this while I was gone. It's been a while.
For some reason, I feel like
What
it's a
does he
little bit
sound like?
more of a whimsical tone.
He sounded a little bit evil too.
Did he?
I think so. Because he was evil, right?
No.
He was not evil.
That
He
was
was a
nope,
sheep.
that was evil.
Oh, yes, there were two of them, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
There
is.
were two of them.
I remember. Oh, it is. It is Edward. Is what he kind of sounded like.
We'll go with
He
it.
does not. That sounds like fucking Jester.
No, it does not sound like Jester. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like dead on.
This is Jester. But hold on, let me play it one more time.
Like before he said that, honestly, I recently got a haircut myself.
He's smiling brightly. He is very pleased.
Once you rain on anybody's
I'm gonna
parade,
look
do
at
you
his
mind
head.
checking this?
How much of his
Make
hair has
sure
grown
that
back?
the wool is still,
Oh yeah.
it's still wool.
I'm gonna check for the wool.
It's still there.
It is still wool, or is it?
This is rather interesting.
It would be a neat trinket.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It is rather interesting. I don't actually know. Now I'm just talking like Jester.
Yeah. You're straight up.
Why, hello there, Edward. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Is it me, or has your voice changed a little?
It really has. I don't know why. Now that I am back in my human form and I've been here for quite a while, I've noticed I have now this kind of accent. I don't know what it is.
That's you know, I should probably document that and submit that, you know, as like a how polymorphing for extended periods of duration can affect one's intonation. You know,
I think that is
might
a
be
great
fun.
experiment. We should definitely look more into that. Are you back about the apprenticeship? Or did you find some magical items? So, to
Yes,
make the stuff for the
items.
magical items.
Well, it's not as much of a. Well, it's more of a magical trove of information that I think you would find at least some merit given your particular field of study. I dug up an old wizard's tome, and the wizard's tome itself, well, it was hidden in well, it was hidden very, very meticulously, as all cautious wizards should be. Um, and, well, it had some very, very interesting theories regarding,
Please tell me he
how should we
takes it.
say,
Okay.
methods of breaching into the Feywild.
Well, come on in.
He is
You
referring.
two, don't stand out there. Come on. He ushers the both of you inside.
How did I
You
get
see
roped
his.
into this?
You see the large abode that is familiar, the repair that has been done to the roof. That's not as much of a roof, rather intertwined intertwined trees that kind of form this dome with shrieks of sunlight illuminating most of the place. He brings you into his sitting room and gestures over to you to hand him the book. I don't know what you're talking about. We sound completely different. Hand it over. Let me see it.
Well, first off, you need a little true sight in order to be able to read the script. It was hidden behind an illusory script of some kind. I'm going to pull out the two wizard's tomes, which are just actually magical books disguised as spicy novels.
Spicy novels.
Spicy novels.
And how do you suppose that we obtain true sight? It's not. Well, I suppose. Give me just a minute. And he walks back. He kind of with a big sigh, his robes flowing in the breeze, as he goes rummaging through his surplus of belongings.
I have mushrooms.
Before coming back with a pair of glasses, he puts these glasses on, and you actually notice that in the lenses of these particular glasses, as he starts to begin looking at the page, you can see like magical runes just ever so faintly forming on the lenses. Not glowing, but just gently etched in there, almost translucent. As he begins to read.
Well,
just a moment, I am reading.
I sit patiently.
You see him. He licks his thumb and flips the page.
It's
Once
a rather
again,
good book,
turning the
isn't it?
page. Seemingly completely engrossed in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn over to Brian, and I'm gonna say, well, technically speaking, we don't have to stop this, do we? I mean, we're not getting into an awkwardly long, nerdy conversation about random stuff, so, you know, it's not defying Moonsig's tension, right? I'm gonna nudge her shoulder.
True, I suppose.
And you sit around and wait for a bit as he, as if you don't mind. At some point in time, you kind of go up to him and help him turn to the pages of interest. as he reads them, he takes off his glasses and begins to rub the bridge of his nose, setting them down at the open book in front of you, or in front of him on his lap, and says, "Now this is really quite something. Suppose." There are many different theories out there on the nature of the existence of transporting oneself between planes, right? It is the entire basis of sorts of transmutation
Holy
and
plane of plenty.
conjuration. Exactly. Now, if we were to assume there was some sort of physical barrier between these planes and not a metaphorical one like we discuss, the concept of poking a hole through would be possible. I mean, if they are in fact the planes are lined up next to each other. Or it does get a little complicated.
I
Because
mean,
if it is
this-
true between just a moment here, Edward. If it is true between his hypothetical Feywild scenario and the material plane, then what is the difference between these two planes and say our plane and the plane of the Shadowfell, or be it the plane of the element of water, or even beyond that? If there is indeed a physical barrier that you could, poke through, if you could do it for these, you would have to hold true for all of them.
The Feywild is the closest, right?
There is also the Shadowfell.
I mean, well, I
Right.
do have a theory
But-
where particular weak points cited within that document itself might be more so where the planes themselves are closer. But like every plane, or at least ones that are layered on top, like Shadowfell or Feywild, both of them are sort of mirror planes to our existence, but with some sort of over encroaching thing, right? For the Feywild, it's magic and Fey. For Shadowfell, it's undead. And,
I was always told that the material plane, as beautifully
if-
as you've named that, was the mirror of the Feywild, not the other way around, but
I mean, but what if, the weak points, quote unquote, cited within this document itself happens to be sort of areas where the parts of the plane happen to be closest towards our plane?
If that theory is true, Edward, just hypothetically, you have told me before about a what was that? There was the portal under the ocean.
right.
So, are we assuming that portal leads to the Feywild?
Well, not exactly. I'm just saying is that the particular text itself cited that certain points in our plane happen to have a easier breaching point in order to access other planes such as the Feywild. And
I do not think that it references that in particular.
I have a
that
question.
where the ice are thinner.
Yes, but I think it is also expanding upon that idea, could be referencing the sort of metaphysical barrier between planes, not a literal barrier. Like, now, of course, this is getting to some pretty high level thinking, but it would be the case that any portal that exists, for example, in the portal to the Feywild, in the portal to the plane of water, the plane of air, earth, etc., or even the many layers of the abyss or the hells, would those portals themselves would be the pinpricks between.
So they're breaches without necessarily being closer, per se.
Not
They
an
happen to be
expert on any of this, but I might have an idea of evidence for this. You were saying something about planes, right? And how no plane, like how we'd conceivably be closest to, we'd have to be the closest to a certain plane in order to break through, right?
Well, well, it's not about being closest. Any amount of force can break through if we have the appropriate amount of it.
That's right, but the plane you actually head to, right?
Yeah.
What about pocket dimensions or harmless demiplanes? Those would be the closest of all, right? They're
Arcana check
relatively easy
how
to
that works,
correct.
'cause I don't know how Emily's magic system works.
Fair. I'm
You-
making assumptions too.
I would say that what is the Arcana check?
The 13.
With with that, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Whether demiplanes are the
Yeah,
would
how do demiplanes work? Like, pocket dimensions,
Okay,
demiplanes.
one question at the time.
my question to Edward and Shinebright was basically would, by the theory that they're talking about, would demiplanes be the closest in nature to the material plane given their ease in creation?
Okay. It's Shine Bright who answers this. He says, well, I do suppose that it depends on how you're looking at it. If the theory is that we are intrinsically bound to, say, the Feywild, then any time that you were to, say, poke a hole through that sheet of ice, it would always lead to the Feywild. But if we go beyond our three-dimensional thinking, right, and we go into a dimension beyond that, there is something more beyond, then maybe it is all not just one sheet of ice, but rather all of these sheets of ice between all of them, all layered up in no discriminate order.
So we just have to choose which one to break. There's not a
Precisely.
higher or lower.
That is a possibility. It would explain, the different portals to other planes. And it would also explain the portals from, say, the elemental plane of air into, say, the elemental plane of fire.
Relatively.
It is not that the material plane is the center of everything, but rather they're all a sort of kaleidoscope.
It's generally accepted that
So
there
is your
are
prevailing
inner and
theory
outer
that
planes, right?
Generally accepted, yes.
The evidence being that it's easier to head to the inner planes, the Feywild and Shadowfell most of all. So does that just mean that those barriers are easier to break from our own?
That is an interesting question. I mean, are all of these planes of existence based in the fact that our material plane is the center?
That is the theory, and it always sat rather weird with me. The Feywild being so fleshed out and all.
I am certain that in any plane that you go to, the residents thereof would assume that they are the center of their own.
Yes. Yes, that in
So,
itself, I do believe it would be true. That their plane is the basis for the fundamental planes in which all other planes are described as a variation of.
but in this scenario, in our little conversation that we are having, would what would it look like if there was no center, or if it is an unknown center? What if, in fact, we are just on the outside, the outer edge,
I mean, would it be
or
more
a
like
own glorified pocket dimension?
I would prefer not to be in the pocket dimension, given how easily those close. Sorry, this was mostly supposed to be between you and Edward. I'm sorry to cut in and ask so many questions when you two are so far beyond my pay grade in this topic.
I mean, your at least your interest or your interest and your goals align with the nature of this discussion. I do believe there's still merit to be a participant in this conversation. Is there
It
not?
is.
Am I not wrong? I mean, you
There
do
is,
plan to enter the Feywild sometime within your lifetime.
and you yourself, given that you are here and are a Eladrin, you have crossed through such barrier. What was it like?
Well, I'm honestly unremarkable. I have gone through portals that didn't even exit this plane that were much more unstable or intricate, even. But I just remember there being a door, a rather large door. It was opened, and we walked out. No real change. I mean, I'm still very young for an elf, but and I was very young then, very young. But I don't believe my memory has faded in so few years.
Is
The
that like
simple portal. It felt like back then.
Now, myself, I do not have a lot of experience with portals. I mostly specialize in transmutation, pulling things out and into ours. But say that this author is correct, then maybe more permanent portals aren't as much as of a maybe there's a way to do it that involves a using these thin sheet of ice to poke a hole out of, make a larger, more stable, continuous use. Does that make sense?
yes, since you're a master of transmutation, or you are a proficient study of transmutation, um, you know, you're proficient at the study of transmutation. I was wondering, would your extensive knowledge of material be able to, bear some result of, or, bear the answer of how I would go about making this pen in order to breach this sheet of ice? Any materials, or physical or magical, or ethereal of any kind?
It is an interesting question. What would the pen look like? I do have a couple of ideas. Give me just a moment. And he goes back into his work study area, um, and begins flipping through a few books.
I mean, Edward, I know we promised Moonzik we'd be back tonight, but and it's already kind of getting dark. But I'm really interested in this. He should not have sent me. Hey, I just realized something. We might have evidence for the shattering analogy.
The hammer?
The rose. Doesn't it kind of look like something is breaking every time we use it?
You're right, but I think the most contradictory piece of evidence to that is that it doesn't actually breach into another plane. It, in fact, just breaches through into another point in our own plane, meaning it's more of not polypl. It's just a planal transit rather than polyplanal transit.
Which could mean we're barking entirely up the wrong tree with this. And what he was knocking on was the method of transit we're currently using and believed it took him to another area, right?
That is true.
Or
If you
we
want,
could be heading into a pocket dimension that simply comes out in a more stable location like the doorway. Either way would allow us to travel that way.
so I do think that there is a possibility we can't rule out. That is true. I'm not quite sure whether we might have to do a little more experimentation on this in order to find more definitive proof on whether or not this rose itself is capable of breaching into any other plane other than our own.
There is a rose? Tell me more about that. Do you see him holding a few books as he walks back into the room?
Well, how we got back here so quickly? I met a rather interesting individual who identified himself only as the broker. I expressed curiosity as to his nature, as I tend to about almost anything in this world, and he decided to invade my mind with detect thoughts. When he recognized that my curiosity only grew, he handed a rose of colored gold to me and said that it was a reward for my curiosity. When I suggested planting it and making a whole garden, he said that would be quite interesting. When I did plant it, the ground beneath me seemed to fall out, although I was firmly rooted in place, as was the rose. And a small portal appeared. After some trial and error, we realized we could close the portal by watering the flower. And that Whoever planted the flower, even by magical means such as Mage Hand, could not enter the portal. But everybody else could. And objects as well.
Hmm.
I don't
And
suppose you have any clue as to who this mysterious person could be.
unfortunately, no, I do not know of somebody called the broker. But that does bring me to an interesting point of text. He flips through one of the books and says, he says, now, of course, portals are well sought after, whether they be from the outer and inner planes, or or anywhere else in the multiverse. There are portals that would lead from one place to another within the same plane. But the cracking, that is you said the ground fell out beneath you. It would lend credence to the theory that he mentioned in the book. Now, I know of just 3 different types of portals. There is permanent portals, temporary portals, and shifting portals. Of course, the permanent portals never change the location or where they lead to. They are incredibly reliable. You can almost always use them with certainty and end up exactly where you are expecting. Most of the time, these portals are two-way, right? It is like you had mentioned before, a rather than a pinprick, a hole that had
Yes,
opened up.
it's a practical portal for logistical applications.
For example, the portal that you had mentioned before under the ocean, you had to seal it with a rock. That would be, I presume, a permanent portal. I mean, there are long-term temporary portals, but you can go back and forth freely. I mean, temporary portals basically are the ones that you find as they please. Sometimes link a place for a few seconds or a few years, not reliable, and basically disappear as soon as you use them. Those portals, but they don't. Well, nobody really knows how they and when and how those portals form naturally. There are spells like the gate spell that allows you to create a temporary portal. Are you familiar with this spell? It is a kind of upper level
I've heard of
spell.
it, but I'm incapable of producing it. I know
I would
the
assume so. Even I cannot place it, cannot cast it. But the idea is, and he flips to that you conjure a portal linking an unoccupied space to one you can see within range to a precise location on a different plane of existence. It has a circular opening, which you can make 5 to 20 feet in diameter, and you can orient the portal in any direction you choose. The portal lasts for up to 1 minute and has a front and a back on each plane. Travel through the portal as possible only by moving through its front. And then disappears into the unoccupied space on the other side. Of course, deities and other planar rulers can prevent these portals created, so they don't open up in their presence or anywhere in their domain. But I mean, that is the only way that I know that I don't actually know, but I know of that would allow a place to make a temporary, that is a hard word to say, a temporary portal between places. Though most temporary portals, like ones that randomly occur out in the wilderness, like to the say Feywild, obviously you don't know exactly where they are going to be going.
Of course, the ephemeral in nature.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. There are also those types of temporary portals that appeared and reappeared, but only during like specific times, like under a harvest moon, or require an exact alignment of celestial bodies or whatnot.
The portal be opened up by the gathering of certain small objects in a particular place.
What do you mean?
For example, let's say, let's say you were a cunning wizard of the highest level, and you trapped a being in a harmless demiplane, or indeed multiple beings of great power in other planes. As with what happened during the calamity. Would there be a way one could accidentally open one of those? If the right objects were brought together or the right events occurred?
I mean, accidentally, I suppose. But, I do not know what objects they would be. Though the discussion of your rose is rather interesting. I think I read about it. Here. Shifting portals. Shifting portals could be permanent, they could be temporary, but they rarely stick around in the same place for long. Permanent shifting portal might have an entrance that never changes, and then it deposits its travelers back into different locations. It could be a set pattern or repeating the cycle, etc. Then again, it might be completely random where you end up, with some showing up in someone's outhouse while others used to appear in the middle of the ocean.
In this case, it seems like we have one fixed end at the doorway and one movable end that has a very strict pattern, right?
I suppose it would be the same. Yeah. Very similar. Now, a lot of these portals that we're talking about require some sort of key. Now, not all of them are having necessary key, but this does go into the discussion of things that you require. You know, the gathering of certain objects. It does not that the portal itself requires to open it objects to use, but rather to use the portal you must have an object, like a bird feather or a heart of a pit fiend who had died from a broken heart. Most of the time, these keys do have something to do with the destination of the portal. Or, like, I've heard of a portal that starts in a fountain, and it requires the traveler to toss in a coin into the water and make a genuine wish.
I'm gonna like check the time.
It's getting late.
Animal's the one with the watch. How dark is it outside?
It's the sun isn't quite setting, but it will be soon. Probably within an hour or two.
Edward is
Edward,
completely unaware of the time and is still
Yeah.
completely engrossed in this
Yeah.
conversation.
Brian's got the sinking feeling that she's already failed her job. Edward, I think I've already failed my job.
What are you talking about? You're doing a great job explaining everything to Fenrir.
I was supposed to make sure this didn't take too long, and I think I'm fully failing.
No, I
Now-
mean, you know, like, this whole study is a process that's time-consuming.
And utterly fascinating, I know. I was just pointing it out.
I don't know, it sounds like to me you're not that interested.
Oh, wow.
He does open up, have one of his books, and gives a big sigh, and ends up ripping a piece of paper out and handing it to you.
Map of planes.
Now, of course, this is incomplete and is a hypothetical iteration thereof, but this is basically the most well documented this is the most well documented concept of the planes. There are problems with it immediately, but
It's
Given
clearly
the nature of the
artistically.
topic, I wouldn't assume that this would be perfect, given that the entire study of these planes itself is non-material and very difficult to quantify.
It's also clearly an artistic representation, but
Also, I have a question. You were mentioning earlier that specific, temporary portals could be opened from an activation criteria, such as tossing a coin into a body of water and making a wish, or presenting a broken pixie's heart. Would that in itself serve as the catalyst that can act as the pen for piercing through this sheet of ice?
I would suppose so. That would be a way of putting it.
So, would that just be the metaphorical pen that would be mentioned within this particular, book?
In those cases, I would say that those are done in specific areas most of the time. Like there's already a plane there, like an entrance between the planes there, a portal there, but to activate it,
Of course, that
you
would
would
be
have to have that.
consistent with the text saying that in order to be able to effectively breach a surface with a pen, you would have to find a particular location where the sheet of ice is thin.
I did not read the entire book. I just briefly skimmed through it where you had told me, but I don't remember anything in there being about the only way to do it is through the thin places,
I
but
didn't say
rather
only,
you
I
could.
said effective. The most effective way.
the
I would.
easiest, right?
It would be easier, yes, but it's not
Yeah,
a
so
requirement by any means.
So then would that line up with the whole presenting a particular catalyst in order to open up a plane theory? B, that the thin veil itself would be a location of at least some significance, magical significance, towards the catalyst that you're presenting to it.
In those specific scenarios, yes, but there are many different types of portals. Not
I
all
would assume-
portals required a sort of key or a specific location.
Well,
I
the book
mean,
itself also
take your rose, for example. If we are to assume, based on your description, that it takes you from wherever you are, it pokes a hole and you go into, you said, a a black area and then come out through the door, then would that not be...
Well, the book itself mentioned as well, you've read the two methods, right? Pen and hammer. The book itself also mentioned that most, breaches through the veil of ice with a pen generally would tend to close itself after given a short period of time, as the breach itself is not a large enough of a scale that it would not mend naturally. But, at the same time, if you were to breach a particular location with a hammer and somehow succeed, that it would cause large catastrophic effects by opening up and tearing through the seams between two planes. Wouldn't the pen method itself be consistent with the fact that this would be a temporary portal that wouldn't have any form of extended permanence throughout the connection between both planes if the breach itself was on a small scale?
The concern that I would have in that case would be upon its exit. The door. Still, as the text suggests, if there is enough little pinpricks, it overall can damage the integrity of the sheet of ice.
Yes. I mean, but on the counter side, if we were to be searching for a particular location where there have been many pinpricks, um, placed within that sheet of ice, that it would be easier in order to breach through. I know this could cause more, damage within the veil, but in itself, would that be an easier effort in order to break through and puncture through that thin of ice, at least for our attempt?
Edward, where are we planning on going?
Well, that's somewhere that I have to find in order to even consider this in the first place.
And are we attempting?
Well, I don't know.
mean,
This is all
best
hypothetical.
case scenario, this is risky, right?
That is true.
I would like to give a word of caution. While you may be discussing using a hammer to clear out the piece of the ice, right?
I would not consider that.
I'm just to make a permanent portal. It could be that the sheet of ice analogy, it would be much larger. So, for example, if how do I put this in a way that you could understand? If you take a hammer to a sheet of ice, it wouldn't necessarily just create cracks and a permanent hole where you did it, but rather they would extend even farther out and affect the overall integrity of not just that location, but all of it. I could see a scenario where there has been so many little picks and pricks into the sheet of ice that even that the entire thing wouldn't be able to hold up to a single hammer strike.
I see.
I don't know that we're going to have any more answers just from looking at the books today. We still need to figure out where we're going after all. And, looking outside, I think Moonzik's going to be incredibly mad at me. We should probably go.
Yes, I suppose. Well, it was great to be able to see you again. You did keep me good company, and this was a very, very good discussion with, I'd say, an input from another mind other than ours. If I ever come back, if I ever find something of interest to your particular field of study, I might come back and pay you another visit. Who knows?
That would be wonderful. I would love to see you again. The apprenticeship is still up on the table.
Well, I'll keep that in consideration. Edward is going to smile and he's going to collect his 2 books. And, well, shall we go? I wouldn't want Moonzik to be too mad at you, Brian.
I'm already dead. Let's head out. Thank you again, Fenrir. And thank you for slowing down the conversation a bit to explain some of the hard stuff to me.
As we're leaving and like walking out, I'm gonna turn to Brian and I'm gonna say, "Is it me or does Fenrir sound like Captain Three Earrings now?"
We don't need to talk about it.
Also, the fact that Brian has never heard Captain Three Earrings.
I don't know what she
Well.
sounds like, but if he sounds like her, then I have so many questions.
Like down to the same accent. It's uncanny.
You were saying something earlier about him sounding like somebody else. It's really confusing.
Yeah, kind of weird. Like he couldn't really decide on a voice he wanted to use for that day.
The first time I remember him kind of bleating. Almost. Like his voice sounded like he was always on the edge of bleating. Maybe he's just coming back to his normal voice.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he did have a bad day. So I don't blame him.
Oh.
That's super rude. Alright, let's hurry back.
Back!
Sorry. Bad boy.
He still has that sweater we made.
The two of
He's just
you,
not even responding.
as the two of you make your way back to the
Broken bank.
God damn it.
you meet up with the other folks. By the way, what are the rest of everybody doing?
I was thinking about that during the whole thing, and I think it wouldn't be too far fetched for Moonzik to convince Soren to do a little bit of sparring on the deck with his katana and Moonzik's rapier.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Here.
Oh boy.
Yeah?
Simulated combat.
Dangerous. Wind Chime was showing Nahiri the ducks by the pond in town.
Yeah.
And about ducks?
Paradox?
Let's start with those on the deck of the ship, and then we'll go to Nahiri and Windcham. So, back to where it's afternoon now. You find yourself, the two of you find yourself on the deck of the Wave Chaser. The crew kind of meandering about, getting things ready.
Soren,
Yes.
there was one thing I had not mentioned before. When I'm on the ship, I am prone to doing some combat training. Would you?
Oh,
Would you care to join me for a round of sparring?
sure. That doesn't sound so bad. Doesn't hurt.
I'd like to see what you can do with your katana. I haven't touched my rapier in a long time, but I don't mind getting in a little bit of practice here and there.
We are waiting on those two, aren't we? And they do like to talk.
I have a feeling that they're going to be taking their sweet time. So, why not? We can set up a little area so we're out of the way of everyone, and then we can kind of do a round of sparring. And of course, we'll need to be sure we're careful. We are using live weapons.
Yeah, it does sound like fun. Like target practice. Oh, wait. You weren't there for that.
No.
Moving on.
We've talked about that before, though.
Oh, Brian let you in on our secrets, huh?
You were there when she was talking about it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But shouldn't we do this?
Let's go for it.
Okay. So, for this, what I'll have you do is you guys can roll each other's. You can go to hit. We're assuming no damage. We're just going to actually. Do you guys have an idea of how you want this interaction to go in terms of what exactly you want to roleplay? Because we could just roleplay the whole thing, or we could have some die rolls.
I'd like some die rolls and some roleplay.
Okay.
Moonzik's more or less testing his skill. His own and Soren's.
Okay, let me pull this here. Just for kicks and giggles, is this accurate? Let's find it. I don't know if it is accurate. Fairly close. Why don't we simulate some combat?
Yeah.
Like
go.
full on 1v1 combat.
Alright.
Waka 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 waka.
Also, my health bar is absurdly long for some reason.
Him.
What? Oh, it just probably hasn't updated. Whoops.
All of the HP.
Oh, well, it's the same HP. It's just super long.
Yeah, you
How's
just get
that
more
better?
damage,
HP is
you also
just
take
bigger.
more damage.
Is that
That's the
better?
trade-off.
Did it fix it?
Hasn't changed.
No.
Move your-
It shouldn't bother
move
me
your-
too much.
Move your characters.
Yeah, it's.
It's still that long?
Yeah.
Well, delete it and replace.
Oh, I just reloaded the window and it worked.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
good now too.
Go ahead and roll me initiative.
Ooh.
Oh baby.
Oh joy.
Oh joy.
Well, 6 and 5.
They both waited for the other person to say start.
This is this is Canadian dueling at its finest. We keep waiting for the
Oh,
other person to
baby.
move first.
You apologize.
You
whenever
first.
you actually start.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. You first. Oh, I'm sorry.
You apologize.
It's
for-
bad when it occurs in the kitchen. Like everything has to go, and then you just like, oh god.
Yeah, and if there's a sharp corner, you have to turn.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry.
Back to D&D, where there are no Canadians.
Oh.
You're
Oh no.
the Frost Giants. How did you not know that?
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Never mind.
Okay. Moonzik, you are first.
After just kind of like sizing Soren up and just kind of like giving him a couple of jukes, like testing his reflexes and everything, he goes for a point on his shoulder with his rapier. I don't know why I'm rolling a d4 with that.
Ooh, that's a crit, but also.
Oh,
But that is a
bless. Why do I
crit.
still have bless on? Oh wait.
What's you?
You know,
Oh, man, right.
This is not the kind of vibe I thought it was going to be.
It sounds like we'd be doing like some ballroom dancing instead of fighting.
Let's listen to this. Let's see how this is.
I mean, I can shrink you and
Go ahead.
fire you out of the
Now,
cannon.
that is a hit. Describe to me what happens as you roll your damage. Because while this is hypothetical,
we're doing
We're
a
not
hypothetical
dealing-
battle.
but including with hit points. So,
Gotcha. Moonsick, as he like after the couple of jukes that he does, he goes and points his rapier directly at Soren's shoulder, and Soren, thinking it's going to be another juke again, just completely lets it through, like uncontested, and then lands directly like kind of where the shoulder and the collarbone meet. If that makes sense.
Very important question. Which shoulder?
I'm going to say his right shoulder. Moonsick is left-handed.
Okay.
13 damage.
So I'm taking that, right?
Yeah.
13
We're not actually
hypothetical.
dying if we reach 0. It's simulated.
Oh, that's the bruised one.
Oh no!
I mean, why do you think that was a crit, huh?
That's also fair.
Alright. Damn, you have a +6 as well. I suppose it is my turn. Wait, you rolled max damage, didn't you?
I did not.
No, not even
Yeah.
close, because
Oh, +3 equals a 5. Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot it's a crit. Alright, anyway. It's a 19 plus 6 for 25.
That also hits.
Yeah, 25.
What happens?
So after Moonzik hitting his shoulder, he's gonna drop his... No, that's not the right word. Shoot, what is the right word? He's gonna like drop his sword from what is it, like forehand to like backhand almost? Like, you know, dropping it down, just kind of switching his hand like, onto it, and he's gonna just go for like kind of an upward slice. Just kind of across his chest a little bit, but like not deep, just little slice up the clothes.
Okay. Do your damage.
Oh. See him.
Moonzik, it's your turn.
Okay. That was a very well timed counterattack.
Thank you. And that poke did really hurt. It's gonna
Sorry.
rub his shoulder.
Sorry, I forgot that was the side that you were hit on by that giant monster. He's gonna go in for... He's gonna go in for a lunge, targeting his side. 20?
That hits. Oh my god. I guess that's fair since we both have a +6.
8. This is a pretty good fight so far. I almost have to say...
I do agree.
I have to stay on my guard around you.
All right. Soren?
Oh, shit.
21. Hear my mom. For 10 damage.
Nice.
Describe it.
So after the forehands, or the backhand slice upwards, he's going to kind of smoothly switch again to the top, and he's gonna do a quick slice from the left to the right, almost like fluid movements, kind of like water.
Go ahead, Moonzik.
Okay. Why? I don't know why I was about to click on initiative, but... God damn!
Wow. These are all high rolls.
We're just going at it, apparently.
That's what she said.
0 defense, all attack.
Let's go! Oh, I'm gonna last longer. I got more HP. Let's do this.
I'll add a little bit of flair to this one. Moonzik and Soren's swords clash a few times as they're trying to get past each other's defenses to get to one another. And Moonzik is able to use his rapier to push the katana down into the floor and then hold it with his foot for a second and land a shot on, into his thigh. 5 damage.
5 imaginary damage.
5
Wait, what was I at?
imaginary damage.
Where's
Which
that?
is different
Okay.
from psychic damage.
That was a
Alright,
quick.
my arrow.
That was a quick improvised shot. It wasn't a very good. Wasn't a very good stab in my end.
It still worked out pretty well. Oh! I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that hits.
It doesn't. Moonzik kind of like uses the rapier to block the attack and then like drive it away to the side to throw Soren off balance a little bit. And then he'll go in for an attack and point it towards... I'll point it towards his chest. And I take it that's a miss.
That is a miss. He is going to... after you push his sword away, He's gonna have kind of like a look of like frustration or like annoyance, kind of just like a quick little look before it goes back to kind of flat face, no emotion. And he is going to. We have our shield, right? I at least I think I do because I'm using my armor class with my shield.
Moonzik doesn't
I don't
have a
know.
shield.
You don't have a shield. He's going to swing a shield out on his left hand and block it, kind of like cross-armed. Because you said his sword. Yeah, sword was off to the side, so he's using his shield on his left arm to block the attack. Kind of just clanks against the wood. Ooh. This is surprising. We have gotten the same amount of hits and misses.
We have.
And in the same order.
What are the odds?
He, upon blocking with a shield... How do I want to explain this? Upon blocking with a shield, he's going to do like a little kind of spin. He's going to spin towards Moonzik and kind of elbow him in the chest. So like, just like a bump back with the elbow to knock you.
Yeah.
Really, Evan?
Okay. Oof. That katana has a little bit more bite to it than I was expecting.
And yours does as well.
That just might be the skill of it. That just might be my swordplay skill.
Well, either way, it is terrifying. If I had to fight you in a real fight, oh, it would not be fun.
I wouldn't want to fight you for real either. Let's see now. Moonzik will kind of go in with a flurry of with moves that kind of forces Soren to defend with his sword, and then at one point he raises his arm to defend with the shield again, and Moonzik's going to push it away with his foot before attempting to land a shot to his arm. A 17?
That does not hit.
Does not
Ooh.
hit.
Good AC right there.
Good AC indeed.
Ha 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 ha. You said you tried to kick the shield?
Yeah.
He's gonna notice that, and he's gonna take a step back to, like, dodge your foot and block the sword. Unless you had other plans.
Nope, that's perfect.
Okay.
Oh, hell!
He is going... So with this, after stepping back, he's just going to do a jab straight to the, like, right in the middle rib cage. Kind of just like a jab right to the rib cage. Or, I don't want to say as hard as possible because we are, like, quote-unquote play fighting. But, so that's a 2d8 plus 3, right? 2d8
Like, he can
plus
swing it really fast and also, like, stop it right as it hits, so it does no damage or anything.
Yeah. That plus... That's... Oh, that's a bad roll. Plus 3 for 8 damage.
If you also click the katana that has the critical roll on it, it will roll a critical.
Oh, will it?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, he's gonna jab you right in the rib cage. Right in the center.
Okay. So that's 5.
Or no, 8 damage.
Yeah,
Sorry, plus
yeah.
3.
Okay. Oof. That could have been a nasty blow.
How you feeling over there?
I feel like you've got me on the ropes, but I'm not going to give up. Moonzik will kind of go forward with a flurry of blows, like a flurry of attacks again, and a couple of like jukes and everything. Like he's throwing everything at Soren. He's going to go and like have a very telegraphed attack where he's going to try and sweep out Soren's leg and like goad him into jumping, and that's where he's going to make his attack and land it like right into. I'm going to land it into his good shoulder this time. The not bruised shoulder. 22.
That hits.
For 9 damage.
Oh, baby. Having been hit in the good shoulder, the left one, he's going to stumble back a step. He's gonna stumble back a step, and he's gonna retaliate by going for his shoulder. I'll say his left one, the one that he's not holding the sword.
No, Moonzik is left-handed.
Oh, then the right shoulder.
And that does hit. And I think no matter what, how much damage you do, you have it.
Yeah, then.
Match goes to Soren.
Ooh.
After hitting you, I'm gonna guess you kind of get knocked down.
Yep.
He's gonna walk over and give you a hand to help you up.
He'll take the hand.
You had me pretty good there too, though.
I'd say we're about evenly matched then, huh?
You still got a little learning to do. It's gonna give him a wink.
I'll always have some learning to do.
I do as well. There's no harm, no foul.
No harm at all. Like I said, it's been a while since I've used my rapier. It's a little rusty.
Be honest, I don't really use my sword all that much either. Spells are quite the more powerful, but it still is quite a lethal weapon.
And you know my mode of attack, I always have my daggers. Especially this one, he's gonna attempt to show off a bit, and he's gonna like take Grudge out of his sheath and kind of like flip it up in the air and catch it by the handle.
You do end up doing a lot of damage with those. I do have a curiosity question though.
What would that be?
Has your daggers ever been enhanced magically?
Well, these two, Ghost Eye and Grudge, they are magic weapons.
You think magic would tamper with them?
What do you mean by magic? Like spells, or...?
Yeah, like enhancement spells.
Possibly. I don't think it would damage the enchantment it has on it, but I'm no expert on magic. That would be more of a question for Ron or Edward.
I was just gonna point out, a little while ago you've been wailing on some people and doing a lot of damage. I was gonna say I could add some damage to it as well.
That would be appreciated, but if there's someone else who deserves the extra damage more, I would say go and help them out. But
Really? I think it's just you that has been consistently doing melee.
well,
Everybody else has been kind of standing back.
I suppose that's fair, but then again, I'm the only one that's, like you said, is currently just doing physical attacks right now. If Phantom over here, that'd be a different story.
Whoa, it's getting pretty late, isn't it?
And with that, I will move over to the scene with the pawn and the Hirian wind chime.
Also,
I apologize.
are you
Also-
like referring to the spell magic weapon?
No.
As which one?
Elemental weapon.
Oh, Doesn't it require it to be a non-magical weapon, or is it just?
Watch a court.
I will read that and get back to you.
I apologize if I missed anything. I think I saw that Soren had won that. I was taking another phone call.
Choose one non-magical weapon you touch.
Yeah, it is one non-magical. Damn, that sucks.
So, Windchime, you
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't imagine it would be a long scene, but like I would bring the hero to the pod and point at the ducks.
is there anything you want to say to her? Or do while you're looking at these ducks?
Keep it PG-13.
I agree.
This is a
Um,
duck pond. What do you think happens here?
Um,
Oh no,
like
ducks eating.
ducks existing, I
Ducks,
suppose.
yeah.
Rocky, shut the fuck up.
Oh my god! Sometimes I hear things in my head.
Really? Like, I know
Um.
we've talked about sometimes hearing the voice of, Brian and Edward and them, even Moonsick too, right?
Yeah, their voices just sometimes find their way into my ears, even when they're very far away. Oh, it's something about portals right now.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Anyway, thanks for introducing me to Borth and the rest of them.
Yeah? What do you think about him?
I think he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's very
positive
excitable. Yeah.
He's actually like as a deck hand on a deck for our ship and everything.
It's pretty cool and all. I'll be honest. It's not that I don't. I mean, he's really important to you. I just don't really know him that well. It's hard to form an opinion about somebody who I really don't know.
Oh, that's fair.
He was very kind though, and he seems to care a lot for you, and I think that is important.
Yeah, he really took me under his wing when we first met, so.
Is it weird that I'm a little jealous?
Why would you be jealous of him?
Well, like, it's not that I'm like jealous of him. Like, I'm not jealous of him. I'm just, he's gotten to spend like a lot of time with you, and I know I have too, and I don't know, it's just, I guess I wish that I could have been with you for longer. Because despite the dragon turtle and that craziness, I do like spending time with you.
Yeah.
And
you can keep tagging along as long as you want, Nahiri.
Although I'll be honest, the dragon turtle thing might have been a little bit too much for me.
Yeah. I was very afraid. I didn't want you to get hurt. But it was all okay in the end.
One day it isn't.
So it's no, I don't want to think like that.
I mean, like, people travel all of the time. Like, that's not a problem. But, I mean, you find yourself in a lot of trouble a lot of the time. And, like, that's fine or whatever. And I know that, obviously you have to go visit your parents.
Yeah.
I have been feeling a little worried lately.
Really?
Yeah. I know that you are, like, totally and completely capable and are so freaking cool. But what happens if that dragon turtle didn't,
Mm.
turn away? What if we had been a little bit more unlucky? What if it's
Well,
not a dragon turtle, but a dragon? What if there's somebody who, like, really fucking wants to kill you or something?
I mean, like all of us and Legati Company, we all look out for each other. So I trust them with my life. And it
But I
is true.
don't.
It could be like
I
that.
don't
Like,
trust them. I don't trust them with their life. With your life, excuse me. I don't trust them with your life. Like, they're talented and really cool and all of that stuff, but, like, I don't want you dead.
everybody dies eventually.
Not in terribly gruesome ways by fucking tentacled creatures hiding in caves.
I can't promise you that I won't get hurt as we continue these adventures, but I promise you.
You see, she kind of crosses her arms and she's like, these adventures, they seem kind of like a fucking death wish. They're not adventures. It's fucking suicide. If you keep
It's not.
going,
I've never felt more empowered and stronger in my life than I do now. Before I started traveling, before I met all of my friends here, I was lost and I didn't know what I was doing, but this feels right. This feels like the life I was always meant to have.
you see, she softens. Here,
And I can't promise that bad things won't happen, but I can promise that I will always come back to you, whether it's this life or the next life, okay?
Oh.
you see, she kind of like she did soften at your words, but she turns away and puts her hand on her face, and you can't see it. Like, she's kind of like turned away from you, and put her hands over her eyes.
Windchime reaches out to like touch her shoulder or like pull her in for a hug if she lets her.
And she does. She leans into your shoulder. And I assume you're not wearing armor
Yeah.
at this exact moment. We'll
Okay.
just play it. We're just not. As you feel her breath shudder, she kind of, and your shoulder gets a little wet from tears. She's keeping terribly quiet though.
Windham squeezes her tighter. It's gonna be okay, Nahiri.
It's just, I'm so scared of like losing the one good thing. I don't want to lose you, okay? And what? I mean, I, I know exactly how it feels to meet people and travel, and I know to have like a purpose, but I just really want to be selfish. I really want to take you away out of danger and away from all of the crazy fucking shit that keeps happening. And I just, I love you a lot.
You too.
And I don't want you to get hurt. And I know you're doing what you have to do. And that you need to do and what feels right for you. And I just, I'm sorry for even asking so stupid. I know how you feel about this.
It's okay.
I have I ever told you in depth of why I joined the circus to begin with?
No, you only gave me the broad stroke.
Well, you see, she kind of like her head turns a little bit, so she's just kind of leaning her head on your shoulder now, not buried into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can glance down and you see, you know, her makeup kind of streaking just a little bit. Face is a little bit redder and puffier. And she says to you, well, I like, so my family, they, mostly my father, to be honest, like pretty well off, or like whatever. My dad used to be a Zalejo, pretty high-ranking officer or whatever. I don't really care to know how it all works, but he is kind of militant.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking asshole is what he is. And he just wanted, I never ever could do anything right in his eyes. Ever. And Damn.
You.
I just needed to get away.
Yeah, I understand that.
And frankly, he had so many expectations for me, so many ideas of how he was going to run my life, and how all I would ever do is bring shame to him and blah, 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 blah. So, in a big fuck you, I decided to join the circus, because what would make him more disappointed in his failure of a daughter than hanging out with a bunch of freaks? I haven't talked to him since.
Do you miss him?
Fuck no. Maybe a little. Like, I don't want him to, like, be doing bad. But I don't
No.
want to fucking see him again. He was a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
And a terrible father. Ugh, anyway.
No, you can't choose your parents. You're not a failure in my eyes, Nahiri. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, too.
And she squeezes you a little tighter. And you sit there, watching the sun start to fall below the horizon.
And the little ducks with their little babies.
Trailing behind. Yeah. And before too long, Nahiri does stand up from your blanket beneath a tree and holds out her hand to help you up as you guys head back to the wave chaser.
Oh my goodness. Our first fight.
And after a few hours of waiting around on the wave chaser, eventually Edward and Brian board the ship.
Seriously, I really think that portal could be very useful for figuring out what we were talking about, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm still unsettled by the fact that, like, he could speak in the voice of the dead. Like, what's up with that?
Right?
That's
As-
really weird.
As
That's
Edward
really
and
weird.
Brian walk onto the plank of the ship to get on the ship itself, they hear the clanging of metal as Soren and Moonzik are going for another round of combat.
Whoa, what happened to you two? Why are you two fighting?
We're sparring.
He was looking at me funny.
Leave Soren.
When
Honest-
I
also
mean,
Definitely will fight to
Brian,
the death.
Brian, to his credit, I look at everybody funny.
True.
You look funny yourself, I'm not gonna lie.
Which part of me looks funny, or which persona of mine looks funny?
Yes.
Soren's gonna look away, snickering.
Bonk on the head immediately.
What about you two?
I'm gonna prestidigitate to make an illusory trinket of a fake mustache appear on his face. I can do that, right?
That's minor illusion.
So, I mean, prestidigitation, you could make a trinket about the size of your palm of your hand. I mean, I could just give like a minor. Yeah, I'll just do minor illusion and make an illusory fake mustache on his face. Handlebar, of course.
Oh
Mhm.
God.
Oh no.
We had a
It
very
looked funny.
productive day, sir.
Oh.
Yeah. Lots of very good information on how portals work. And perhaps evidence on why our portal works.
Interesting. You'll have to
I'm
give me the
sorry.
cliff notes as I can't follow along with that sort of stuff for very long.
Neither can I.
Basically, this is our current model of how the planes work. And I'm just gonna like
Go
pull
on.
the map planes out of Rocky's hands. Or
Rockies.
See? What
This is
we
how
think-
polyplanar transit theory works. Grabs Edward through the or grabs Rocky through the monitor.
Whoa.
And we think that this map is wrong. We think that all of the planes are more or less equidistant, but not equally easy to jump to.
Yeah.
Basically, it's about perspective.
Okay, you lost me a while ago.
Well, you see, the distance between planes isn't that of a physical quantifiable measurement between, like, particular lengths that we can measure with rulers or anything, but more so as, how should I explain? More so as the amount of resistance that you experience between transit of each plane varies depending on specific circumstances, and even in rare cases could occur naturally through shifting portals of sorts. At least that was the term for it.
Brian translation.
Basically, it's harder to get into other planes because it's simply harder to get into other planes, not because of their physical location. Given that their physical location doesn't really exist on our physical.
Okay.
So we're not doing a very good job, are we?
Moonsick translation.
I don't know how to. I don't translate any of that language myself. I can somewhat understand it, but I can't.
Basically, all planes are equally as close, but some are easier to get into than others, depending on whether or not it's a weird blood moon or whatever it
Okay.
is, the criteria for it is, I think.
Okay, so think of it like this. You're on a stone in a river, and the water is rushing past you really fast, and there's like two other stones that are equally the same distance. But one stone, the water's just like crashing into, and the other stone is a clear jump to. So it's easier to get to that stone instead.
Even
Which
if
I'm
you
got
got
the
to
idea.
the stone where
Well-
the water is clear around, it might then be easier to jump even if it's farther now because all the planes are equal distance to each other. So that rock is now equally close to the original rock as the first rock, and over to this rock.
But I can fly. I don't have what?
Well, this is, of course, in a hypothetical sense. You can't actually fly
Perspective,
between the space
guys.
between planes. What Windchime is trying to explain is the fact that the amount of force exerted within the different positions of the rocks vary depending on the amount of force that you need to make in order to cause a transit between the positions between two rocks. That's completely either aided or hindered by the vector of the water that is flowing between the two different points.
Also,
It's
there is no
gonna-
water and there is no distance between them.
He's gonna unintentionally cast Druidcraft, and you're gonna see smoke coming out of his ears as he just stands there, like, jaw dropped, fully confused look. Sure.
Well, there are certain things that are really easy to create that are possibly just the lowest force requirement, and those are called demiplanes, and you currently hold one.
I
Looks
hold one?
You have a bag of holding, right? The
quiver.
quiver, right?
Yes.
I suppose so.
So the way this quiver works is that basically
More
there's
smoke.
this oh.
Oh.
Portals are fun.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
Portals are fun.
So, now that we're all here, let's get a going. I've been waiting for hours. Boris says.
I can't agree with you more there.
Yes, let's
We'll have
move away from this conversation.
We'll have plenty of time to dumb it down as far as we can once we get back to Firewatch.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
He doesn't need to dumb. He doesn't need it dumbed down. He just needs it translated.
That's... I was saying it for me as well, but...
Yeah, the only reason I understand it is because I got a head start.
Oh.
No, I'm feeling left out.
I only understand it slightly, not as much as to an extent as the others, but that's okay. As long as they know how it works and how, if we can use it in the future, they'll be the ones activating it.
No idea how to use it. Zero.
Well,
seriously, like, our description is a description about how little we understand it.
it's very reassuring.
As you all begin to take off and head to Firewatch, as you approach the island, after quite a few minutes, I should say, you notice no spires in sight. And as you get even closer, you can see the island's edge, cautiously going as slow as you can have your ship go, just in case.
As we're going, just as a precautionary measure, can I cast Locate Object on, like, you know, the spire-like things? Would that be an object I could locate?
Send me locate object.
I will link it.
I was gonna have Soren stand at the front of the boat and put dancing lights in the top of the water to look for him. But that would work as well.
Yeah. And I have seen these spires before up within 30 feet, because Animo, Brian, and I went up to them before, and we did just, like...
I just don't know how far locate object works.
1,000 feet is the range.
You do not get anything.
Sorry.
You get no bone, or excuse me, no
Ping.
no shell.
Well,
It is not within 1,000 feet.
well, at least we can take some reassurance in the fact that it's not there. Ooh.
Reassurance indeed.
As you get closer, you see. I'm sorry, I keep coughing. You see that on the island, the beach is littered with washed up seaweed, and looks like it was hit by a massive tidal wave. You even see marks of water, making it all the way up to the the wall of, and I assume you all get off
Yeah.
the ship onto a little boat and row your way up to the rest of the way to the shore. As you walk up to the island, water has pooled even behind the wall, and a couple of the plants had been washed out.
Oh, damn.
We hear Denor standing in the cabbage
Janor
patch
is
with
in
like
Port Zoom.
a head going,
You do, however, glance up and see Borth waving at you from the top of the bell tower.
Borth, are you okay?
Yes! You hear him yell.
This island got hit by a tidal wave, didn't it?
He's already disappeared from view.
Borth, or do you mean Barrett?
Sorry, Barrett. I apologize. Barrett. That's
Borth, are you
on top.
okay? Yes?
Can I fix whatever was kind of ruined in the cabbage patch? Because I can create and destroy water to get rid of the water, the excess water.
It's just mud.
It's just mud.
It's been hours now.
I was gonna say, at this point,
And most of the day.
the crops are out of the ground.
Not all of them, but some of them, yeah. It's like it just kind of like came up and flooded.
Is there any way I can kind of fix it?
Yeah! That's something that you are capable of doing.
Cool.
Kind of re-putting plants that had been washed up against the back. It looks like that it kind of got to its maximum reach here, but it is, over 100 feet from the beach.
Okie dokie.
But you all walk your way into Firewatch. Side note. Office is done. No, not office. Study. For you, Edward.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh. I'm gonna, just like a little giddy child approaching the door of Fenrir Scheibenbright, or Charlie in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, I'm going to run all the way upstairs and check it out.
Don't
Well,
forget
this hypothetically had already happened, but for your information, you've got a couple of desks, one storage table, one equipment table, and one full of materials and a book, and you've got a blackboard. You've got a blackboard in here, and books and a little writing desk.
Oh. This is minimalistic, simple, but yet still just effective.
I don't have anything super fancy in there. I was kind of out of ideas, I'm not gonna lie.
And yet I can still see this as the mad scientist lab.
No, not enough death rays to be a mad scientist's lab.
What in the hell is a death ray?
It's like a
moonbeam
thingamajig that shoots lasers at things.
Moonbeam!
Yeah, it's like a horizontal moonbeam ray.
Oh, I can't do that.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, you can only do vertical, but you get the idea.
Oh, so it's like an Eldritch Blast.
Yes, except if an Eldritch Blast was like 50 times larger and also scarier and also more dramatic. and also didn't smell like strawberries or knock people back.
I don't know. I don't want to be thrown 10 feet by brine. That's pretty scary in and of itself.
You think you can recreate that, Brian? What did he say? It's bigger, scarier, and doesn't. Wait, your
What?
Eldritch Blast smells like strawberries?
Yeah, you've never heard of warlocks that make the blast smell like strawberries?
No.
Have you been hit by my Eldritch Blast?
Well, I mean, not Brian's blast specifically.
He's gonna
but
start
you know what
running.
I mean.
We're gonna leave it there. Well, excuse me. We're not gonna leave just quite yet. You make your way down. I'll say it's Moonsick in particular. Makes your way down to the cellar. And before long, you see the door swing open and hear the voice. Are you guys back yet?
Janor.
Yes?
Ah, fucking finally! I mean, finally! I'm so happy that you guys are back.
Oof.
And we're going to end it there and take a break.
Right.
Yeah. So, Emily, what was that acting for Nahiri?
Okay,
Jesus
hold
Christ,
on,
that was
hold on. We
weird
need to actually
acting.
end this part off first. Thank you all so much for watching this video. We'll be back in a little bit with part 2.